Hello, beautiful beings. Today, I want to talk about why I am heading out to another 6 weeks of silent meditation. When combined, those 6 weeks with the other practices I've undertaken in this past year, as well as last year in 2022, it will be more than 8 months total that I will be in complete silence. And that whole journey started 5 years ago, after a few months after leaving a career that took me more than 20 years to build. And today I want to talk about why. Why do I spend so much time in silence? Why do I leave a career where I was earning more than $200,000 a year so that I can learn how to introspect? Like, why? Why do I keep going into silent meditation retreat? And of course, the answer to these things can be best shared in stories. So for those of you who don't know me, leaving a $200,000, more than $200,000 per year income, it's a big deal for someone that, if you rewind 22 years prior to that moment, I was a 16-year-old single mom with an 11th grade education, and I had no idea how to succeed in the world. I just knew that I had a child that I felt was completely dependent upon me because I was her mother and I was a single mom. And I had a dream. I had a dream of being a good role model for her. And I figured that being an astronaut would be a good way for me to fulfill this deep longing for connection and understanding the universe, as well as fulfill the need to be a good role model for this child that was just born. It was a very, Don Quixote would say, quixotic, like very grandiose aspiration. But I believed in it. And so I went, earned a bachelor's degree in physics, theoretical physics, went on to study mechanical engineering. And from there, the Columbia exploded in 2003. And as I was finishing my application for a PhD in aerospace engineering, and at that time, I remember I didn't know what else to do. If I wasn't going to leave this planet, what was I going to do inside of it? Like, I had never really thought of that because I was so into that plan of being a good role model for my daughter and fulfilling this desire to be connected to the universe. So that's a gist of my background. Fast forward, and I learned how to succeed. I learned how to succeed in the external world. I worked as an aerospace engineer, and that was not what I was intending to do with my life, because I was in military, and that's not what the goal was, as you just learned. So I went back to school, got another degree, and transitioned over to high tech. And I was there for another 7 years. And I was highly successful in what the world considered success. So it took me over 20 years to get to a point where I was earning more than $200K per year. And there was something severely missing, though. And it was that deep sense of connection that I always had towards the universe. It's a way for life to knock on the door of another kind of connection, which is connection to ourselves, connection to others who are also part of the universe. And that part was severely lacking for me. I didn't really know how to enjoy, how to experience deep, fulfilling connections, intimate connections with the people that were closest to me, especially romantic relationships. Sucked at it, completely sucked at it. I was so eager to find love, but I didn't know how to give love, which is the dilemma that many of us face. And so, fast forward, I'm not going to go into the details of the spiritual awakening. I'll do that in another video. But in 2018, I didn't have enough vacation time to go into retreat of introspection and finding out more about this being, the universe inside. And so I quit my job and I started going into different retreats. I traveled the planet. I sold my house to be able to afford this. And it was a deep calling to figure out what was going on inside. And a few months after I quit my job, I found myself in my first silent meditation retreat, my first Vipassana retreat. And this was August of 2018. It was so profound, and yet I didn't really understand how profound that. It was a 10-day retreat with Cuenca. Satya and Cuenca, and Cuenca. And I found myself in India after that, and I attended. I was so completely overwhelmed. All I knew was that I needed to take myself back into silence when I was in India. So I found myself a retreat with Cuenca in India, and I did another 10 days in Jaipur, India. Fast forward to January of 2019, and I find myself signing up for my third Vipassana retreat. And there's and now I understand why, but I'm just giving you the gist that within 1 year, I signed up for 5 Vipassana retreats. The last one was in Germany in 2019. And then in 2020, COVID hit. So there was a period of time that I didn't go back to Vipassana. And in 2021, I signed up for another 10-day retreat. And I was concurrently doing plant medicine throughout my searching and my journey. And I told the teachers, and they requested that I make a choice of whether to continue a path of plant medicine or to attend another 10-day retreat. And I couldn't make that choice at that time. So I was honest with them. And I told them that I wasn't ready to make that choice. And at that time, I had decided to do Iboga in Gabon, Africa. And I told them about that. And they canceled my registration for my 10th day of Vipassana. So I was devastated because I knew that it was such a profound something that I had found, and I still didn't have words back then to truly articulate what it was that silent meditation was offering. So, of course, life has it that when you're authentic and you're honest, I wasn't going to lie because I already know that I can't lie to the universe, right? So fast forward to the end of 2021, and I find several retreats in the United States that offer 2 months of silent meditation. Spirit Rock Meditation Center in California, as well as Insight Meditation Society that offer 3 months. So in 2022, I signed up for a 2-month Vipassana retreat at Spirit Rock. Then I did the 3-month fall retreat in Boston, in Massachusetts. Then in this year, 2023, I went back to another 2 months. Then I did a week in the summer, and now I'm about to head out to do 6 weeks in Massachusetts. And now I have more words to describe what it is that silent meditation offers. And so in this video, this is what I'm intending to communicate. And this relates to that longing of wanting to find love and connection with other human beings. So think about this. What is it that you would want the most from the people that are closest to you? This is a question for you to consider before I move on. Just consider momentarily if you could just pinpoint your deepest longing from the people that are near you, not your dreams and achievements and finances and stuff, none of that. Your deepest longing with the people that are closest to you. What is it that you would want to receive from those people? Because the answer to that question is why I have spent so much time and I have left a $200,000 career to build the skills that enable me to offer that thing to another being. Acceptance, safety, true deep listening, release from judgment, truly seeing the being that is there beyond their mistakes, beyond their fears, truly authentically seeing them, truly knowing how to love. I wanted those things so badly from other people, but yet I didn't know how to offer that to anybody, including myself, which is the reason why many times the people that we love the most are not able to give us those things. And it's no one's fault if no one teaches us how to love. How can we possibly offer it to another being if we ourselves don't know it? Now, that's not to say that I didn't have ideas of what love was. So this is actually a good segue, a good parenthesis, I would say, because for my daughter, for example, I remember asking myself when she was little, when we were both little, I remember asking myself, what would she want? What would she want? When she's an adult, what would she want? And the only answer I had to that was, what would I want? And at the time, I was so curious and so interested in learning. And so I wanted to give her what I didn't have when I was a child. So she got into swimming and dancing, and she learned how to play music and gymnastics. Oh my gosh, I started learning how to do gymnastics with her. And the first class, I was like, no, it's okay. Same with violin. I went to take classes of violin so that I can play with her, because these were my goals, my dreams. Yeah, no, I was too busy then with work to put dedication, commitment, the time commitment to these things that didn't actually feel fulfilling to me, right? So, but I would still provide these opportunities for her. And that is an aspect of love based on what I imagined love would be, right? And there's nothing wrong with those things. Actually, we need to fulfill our longings before we turn inward. And so I'm not going to say much more about that, but I will just say that in a way, in giving her all of these things, I gave them to myself somehow. And now, as she's now 28 years old, so now as an adult, what I have come to understand is that what she wanted the most was for me to be emotionally supportive of her. Basically, the same exact list that I wanted from a romantic partner, for example, to be accepted, to feel safe, to feel loved, to be seen beyond mistakes, to not feel that I'm being judged, to feel competent, to feel desired, wanted, to feel wanted. The list can go on and on. Everyone has the same fundamental needs. And so why do I go to Vipassana? Why do I go to silent meditation? Because in silent meditation, I can observe all of the thought patterns that prevent me from actually knowing my true nature. And so that's kind of like a deep thing to say, I understand. And this is why when I teach this work, I constantly emphasize the need to have lived, embodied experiences, because intellectual understanding doesn't get us very far. But in sharing just these little nuggets, I am hopeful to communicate the essence of what I gain in silent meditation. And that's the reason why I'm about to go into my 8th month of silent retreat, because the insights gained there don't have a price. So I would do it all over again to leave a $200,000 career or even more. It doesn't matter, because it's freedom. The freedom that comes from true insight, true understanding, true seeing doesn't have a price. So I will leave it at that. So I'll be gone starting next week for 6 weeks. And what I'm going to do in that time, because I was off YouTube for over 2 years. And I recently started posting again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule old posts, old videos that I've shared in my private group. And I encourage you to if you want to get a gist of the things that I have gained in retreat, the best way, honestly, is to go into my website, www.fernmarierodriguez.com. The link is in the description. And from my website, go ahead and sign up I created a 3-day challenge where I share with you the foundations of self-mastery. In that video, you won't just hear intellectual information, although of course I do communicate from a scientific background, but it is the exercises that I leave you with for each of those topics that are going to enable you to have your own lived experience so that you can by yourself know what it is that I'm talking about. So I talk about self-awareness, self-acceptance leading to forgiveness and compassion, and equanimity. Those are summary level overviews of the more extensive 10-week intentional evolution program that I will be running again after I come back from silent retreat. So if you join the website link, you will get added to my newsletter, you will receive the gift, and you will get to know when there's an opportunity to jump into the more intensive 10-week intentional evolution program. And so I invite you to leverage that if it's compelling to you. So for the next 6 weeks, enjoy the pre-recorded programming videos that I'm leaving you with. Please ask questions, and if there's silence, it's because I'm in silence, but I will answer them when I return. So thank you for staying this long. Have a beautiful fall. Namaste.